In today's video, we're going to look at the story of Jambo, and this, I believe, was something that really happened. I think that this is an example of real things on the news. Sometimes real things do happen, and it's kind of interesting because there's the deception mixed in there with this real story. But also, another interesting thing about this story is I think it inspired a fake story, and that happens a lot. And I mean, a lot of times too, any movie that's like based on a real story, you should be very skeptical of that, because the story that's supposed to be real to begin with is often just completely fabricated. But this is an example where I think this really happened. I think a little boy really fell into this enclosure, and so we're gonna watch it. The gorilla goes by the name. The suit is called Jambo. I think that this is an interesting example for, yeah, a couple different reasons. What I just explained. I think this really happened. And another, I think it inspired Harambe. I don't think I said that yet. I think the whole Harambe thing was just inspired by this. And that's something that they will do. They'll make up a story just inspired by something that's happened in the past or something that really happened in real life. They'll be like, well, that gave me an idea to put on this spectacle. And that's what I think the whole Harambe thing, I think, is based off of this story where they just gave it a different ending. Let's watch the video. This is pretty tragic. I think this really happened to the boy.
Wildlife Preservation Trust, the open-air gorilla complex, had its usual
But I think
collection
there's a
of
suit
visitors.
malfunction in
But
this,
yesterday
right there.
they'd watched in horror.
Let me start over. That's another reason this video is
On a
interesting.
sunlit Sunday afternoon, one
I
of the
think
main
this is a suit
attractions at
malfunction.
Jersey's Wildlife Preservation Trust, the open-air gorilla complex, had its usual collection
Right
of
there.
visitors. But yesterday they'd watched in horror as a 5-year-old boy fell into the compound. Yambo, the huge male lowland gorilla, immediately stood guard over the unconscious boy. Levan Merritt, who was transferred to the Southampton General's neurological unit, is said to be stable today. He was on holiday in the island with his parents and their other children. The actions of these animals speak volumes for Gerald Durrell.
So these fursuit actors are under strict, you better believe they're signing all sorts of non-disclosure agreements. They are not allowed to break character, even though there's evidence out there of them breaking character, standing upright when they don't think they're being watched. They're in character. That's why they stick the finger to the nose to sniff. That's part of playing the character. You gotta still act like a gorilla, even in this case. But I think it's obvious that this actor is very seriously worried about the boy. And wild animals don't act like this. These are acting like concerned humans because they are concerned humans. The fursuit actors all go back inside miraculously. So I'll just explain how you can know this is fake. They all go back inside once the paramedics are jumping down and arriving on the scene. How could you orchestrate for a bunch of wild animals to magically go back inside in a situation like this? So I think it's pretty obvious that these are real people in suits reacting to real serious situation.
Gentle giants. Yambo, a prolific father himself, recently celebrated his 25th birthday. He's been in Jersey since 1972. But when the child regained consciousness, his screaming really worried the gorilla, who moved off, gaining momentum, to the relative safety to him of indoors. Zoo staff had already enticed most of the group back inside by the time ambulanceman Brian Fox lured himself into the compound to render first
went back
aid.
inside. So I'm going to look at some comments. Wow, he actually was trying to help and seemed genuinely worried. I agree. Yeah, because I think that there was a real person inside that suit, and they were very worried about it. Talking about Harambe, yeah, I already brought that up. I think that the whole Harambe psyop was based off of this. I think that a lot of times they don't have new ideas. You see it in the movie theater. Oh, they don't have any new ideas. They just want to rehash old ideas. That's how it works with these fantastical stories. We haven't had a good gorilla story in a while. Well, let's do it like that happened back in the day, in the 80s. You remember that story in the 80s? Let's do it like that, except this time we're going to kill the fursuit. I think that is how Harambe, they came up with that. People just over the top. He didn't leave. He made the others follow him away. They were doing what they needed to do. They weren't wild animals. They were reacting to a crisis. So the suit got really wonky there in the beginning. I may as well, I mean, you can go back and watch it again if you want to. Somebody pointed that out, though, in the comments of my last video. They said that this Yambo, they were like, there is a suit malfunction. I agree that that is a suit malfunction right there happening because it was a crisis. And another thing to bring up, because I'm only talking about this because people talk about it in the comments, they're asking me, what about the baby gorillas? Do they use midgets? Yes. Or, excuse me, do they use little people in the baby gorillas? Yes, they use little people. And Vern Troyer is known to be a gorilla suit actor. There you go. When they show us, and you can see that this is like a test version. And another thing I wanted to point out here is they're talking about the arm extensions. That's something that you'll hear. Their arms are too long for a human. Well, they use arm extensions. They will talk about all the aspects. There's crutch. I actually can't find it anymore on YouTube. There used to be a really good YouTube video of how to walk like a gorilla, and it was a gorilla actor showing people how to walk with the crutches. They have arm extension crutches, and this is like circus stuff. That actually goes with the little people. Little people have been exploited by the circus and by the entertainment industry for a while. Tiptoes. What is this? The actors who played Munchkins in 1939 Wizard of Oz were paid less than half of what the dog that played Toto made per week. Disney hired some little people. I'll just end with this silly story. Disney hired some little people to dress as Pinocchio and wave at people at the premiere of Pinocchio. They left them on a balcony with enough food and wine for the day, but by late afternoon they were all naked, the costumes were too hot, drunk, and screaming swear words at people. This is interesting. Yes, I do believe that they use little people to play the babies, the juvenile gorilla suits. And if they're smaller than that, then they're realistic looking puppets. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.